For Cork, with the loss of so many stars from their All-Ireland winning side last year. They've already lost twice to Galway this season, including the league final. But here they are, back to defend their All-Ireland crown. This is the Cork team. Aoife Murray was the All-Star goalkeeper in 2014 and has once again been in outstanding form in her county's return journey to Croke Park this season. Laura Tracy was cornerback last year, but now has the pivotal role of fullback. Pamela Mackey and Leanne O'Sullivan are in the corners. Cork centre-back Gemma O'Connor is playing in her 11th final and going for her 7th All-Ireland medal, with Rena Buckley and Maeve Cahalan on the wings. The Rebels have a former and present captain in the middle of the field. It's a powerful combination of Julia White and Aisling Thompson who leads her team today. The two Orlas are in the half-forward line. That's Orla Cotter and Cronin, and joining them is Killis Hannah Looney. The full forward line looks awesome, with legendary Cork star Breach Corkery at top of the right, with soccer international Amy O'Connor at full forward and Katrina Mackey in the other corner. The Galway number one is Susan Erner, who was the All-Star goalkeeper in 2013. She's been rock solid between the posts and once again producing quality saves in both the league and the championship. Therese Manton, Sarah Dervin and Heather Cooney are a very strong full back line, with the number 3 last year's All-Star full back. Sarah's performance today is crucial. This is the Galway half-back line, where Shauna Healy is a dominant force in the middle, supported by two fast but tight marking wingers in Siobhan Cohen and Lorraine Ryan. If leadership is required, then look no further than the Galway centre field, where team captain Niamh Kilkenny and Clodagh McGrath will operate from. At number 11 is another McGrath, Niamh, and she's a really good player. On the wings will be Aoife Donoghue and St Thomas's Finola Keeley, who replaces the injured Emma Kilkelly. Galway certainly have potential match winners in their full forward line that consists of corner forwards Catherine Finnerty and Ailey O'Reilly, with Molly Dunn at the edge of the square. Well, two of the finest managers in the game of Camogie walked the line today. Tony Ward from Galway, who remarkably has led his county to 2 All-Ireland titles in 1996 and 2013, while Cork's Paudie Murray guided the Rebels to last year's All-Ireland and sets out this afternoon to defend the O'Duffy Cup and win 2 in a row.
Paudie, another All-Ireland final, but it's not often you go in as having had the poor record against your opponents.
Yeah, I suppose it hasn't been good really. I suppose we're hoping that'll be third time lucky, you know, that had 2 defeats already this year, so just hoping to rectify that.
Is this where the loss of all those players at the start of the year could play a big role?
Yeah, I suppose, look, at the start of the year we were kind of in transition really, and that we're hoping that we've done all that really at this stage, and just hoping that the younger ones perform to what they're capable of, and if they do that, well then I think we're in with a shout.
But obviously a senior All-Ireland final, if it's in the melting pot, that could be where you need your experienced players, isn't it?
Probably is, yeah, but look, you know, we've the likes of Emer Sullivan really to come off the bench, so you know that we have a bit of experience there really.
Tony, you obviously had a brilliant day here a couple of years ago. How much would that help today now?
I would sure it's a big help, because a lot of the girls that played intermediate that day are back, and you know they've gained that experience, whereas you know we're coming in with a pretty young team, but they've had the experience of playing the intermediate that day, so that's a big help for us.
It also helps obviously if you've had the upper hand on your opponents throughout the year.
Yeah, but look, this is the 3rd game, and I often say you probably learn more by getting beaten, you know, so look, it's who wants it the most today, and the weather is probably going to make it a dour game, so you know it's who fights out the battle the better today.
But obviously you know each other inside out at this stage.
Oh, inside out, you like both managers have nearly picked both teams at this stage. We've met so often, but you know, look at it's going to go down to the wire. It's going to be a tight game, and you know, just hope it's Galway that shades it again.
Well, you can see the match referee in his very first All-Ireland final. That's Ray Kelly from Robertstown in County Kildare, tossing the coin. Galway have won. They're going to play from right to left. That's from Hill 16 down towards the Davin end. Galway win the toss. I wonder, is that a sign that Galway might just win their 3rd All-Ireland title?
Yeah, Veronica, by the way, Tony was saying there he's expecting a dour game today. I hope he's wrong on that score for a start.
Yeah, well, the conditions have improved anyway, at least here today.
Yes,
so,
they have. Yeah, the rain has gone away here at Croke Park. It will be a little bit slippy, I suspect, underfoot, but at least it's cleared up from the conditions we had earlier on in the day.
Yeah, it was very tough on the juniors and the intermediates earlier on, really, like, you know. So we'd expect a way faster game now in the senior.
Yeah. Anna, you are the All-Ireland champions, but if you were to look at Cork at the moment, what would be your biggest worry about the side?
So if you look, they lost 4 players in the start from last year, 2 line and 2 in the half-forward line. Now, Cork so far this year have conceded 360, so it's only 3 goals. So, but my worry is that their full-back line hasn't been tested that much. Now, they've brought back Pamela Mackey from wing-back to corner, and like her experience is brilliant there. She's a real great man marker, and she's very good to win possession, you know, the dirty ball. Laura Tracy has moved in from the corner. She won All-Ireland there last year into full-back. Now, while comfortable there, she hasn't been really tested yet. And then Leanne O'Sullivan is playing in her first All-Ireland final. Now, all girls have acquitted themselves well throughout the championship. However, I don't think yet they've met a full forward line that has taken them on. Like, if you look at the Galway's full forward line, they have Alicia Riley and Molly Dunn in particular in the full forward line. And between them, they've amassed 6-11 in the lead up to this All-Ireland final. So both girls are going to have to be very well marshalled, and it's going to have to be a case of touch tight. Because I remember last year, I played full back for the very first time, and it's like you're starting all over again, because full back is really positioned that one mistake, one slip, the ball's in the back of the net, your confidence can really be shattered. So hopefully Laura Chase can be out in front, and I'm sure Aoife Murray behind her will be talking to her through, but that's one area I see that it could be won and lost for Cork.
There is one thing about Galway at the moment, Veronica, facing a team of the calibre of Cork. But they don't need to have any fears of the Cork team, because, of course, they've beaten them twice this year already, in the league final being one.
Yeah, they bet them in the league final and they bet them in the championship, and they won't be fearing Cork today. Galway are the informed team. They have played the last 11 games, they've drawn 1 and they've won 10. So that they'll be bringing that confidence and like the belief that, you know, that they can beat Cork today. So, yeah.
It's one of the things about this final is, as you said, Galway have shown good form all year long through the league, and they topped their group in the championship as well. So their form has been consistent. Cork less so, but Cork have been getting better as the year goes on, which is always something to watch for.
Yes, I suppose it was always going to take Cork a slow at the start of the year. You know, they had lost, I think it was 12 to 13 players that were involved last year in their setup. So it was always going to be a slow start to the year for them. But definitely their semi-final has told it all. They're definitely coming into themselves. They're definitely probably starting to peak at the right time, and they're settling down as a team. Like the Bet Kilkenny team, who had 21 goals, 72 points scored coming into the semi-final, which is phenomenal. So, and they didn't panic. They were down the semi-final. They were down by about 7 points, and they came back and they scored 3 unanswered goals. So, like, you know, they're definitely peaking.
Well, you have seen the teams lining up, and they are lining up because we're a special guest of honour here at Croke Park this afternoon for an All-Ireland final. Once again, it's Uachtar O'Hara and Michael D. Higgins.
It's always a very special moment for these Camogie players who qualify for an All-Ireland final. Part of the rituals, they meet and greet the President of Ireland, and Michael D. Higgins here with the President of the Camogie Association, Catherine Neary, a very proud Kilkenny woman, going to escort the President to meet Niamh Kilkenny, the captain of the Galway side, and she will do the honours of introducing all the players, from goalkeeper Susan Erner on to Therese Manton from Mullia, Sarah Durbin, Heather Cooney is the number 4, number 5 is Siobhan Cohen from Ballindereen, Shauna Healy from Ardrahan, and Lorraine Ryan, of course, from Killimer Daly, who was captain of the team that won the All-Ireland in 2013. Also there, of course, is Clodagh McGrath, her dad, Michael Hopper McGrath. What a hurler he was. And there is Finola Keeley, who gets a big opportunity with the unfortunate injury to Emma Kilkelly. The St. Thomas's player comes into the team. At full forward is Molly Dunn, and number 15 is Alicia Riley from Oranmore Marie, and it's a big moment for her, as indeed it is for all the officials here. Ray Kelly and his team of umpires from County Kildare. Delighted, as you can see, to meet the President of Ireland. All part of the day here in Croke Park. Thankfully, the rain has passed away, so it's dry at the moment. It was a day for the fireside and watching the Sunday game live up to about 2 o'clock, but thankfully that has changed. So now the honour falls to Aisling Thompson from Milford, who's the captain of the Cork team, introducing Aoife Murray from Clondove. Also Pamela Mackey, Laura Tracy from Killa, and Leanne O'Sullivan from Glen Rovers. Rena Buckley, what a player, Jewel Star. Gemma O'Connor going for a 7th All-Ireland today, and left half back is Maeve Cahalan. You remember her dad, Niall Cahalan, great Cork footballer, and her brother Damien. Julia White is the number 8, and of course at 11 is Orla Cronin. Beside her is Hannah, one of the Killa stars, and Breach Corkery. What a player. Like Rena Buckley, dual star. She joins Amy O'Connor, who's a soccer international, and Katrina Mackey, one of the twins. Her twin sister Pamela from Douglas is going to be playing at right corner back. Handshakes from the President of Ireland, President of Camogie Association, a wave to the crowd here, and they give them a tumultuous response. A wonderful honour for all of us here in Croke Park to have our President, the President of Ireland, with us on All-Ireland Final Camogie Day.
Uachtar Hearn accepting the applause of the crowd in a very good atmosphere, I have to say, here at Croke Park for today's All-Ireland Camogie Finals. Anna Geary, you were saying to me a moment ago that you believe this game will be won and lost around the middle of the field. Why do you say that?
Yeah, I mean, we already looked at Aisling Thompson and Niamh Kilkenny, and everybody knows that they are both going to dictate matters to a certain extent. But I think you have to look at the other two. Julia White has joined Aisling Thompson now. She missed the first two championship games for Cork. She was away, and she's come back. And really, I think she was a major part in Cork's turnaround for this year's championship. They were down 7 points against Tipperary, and they came back to win by 9. And Julia, to me, was one of the standout players that day. Her work rate, but it's her ability and I suppose her vision. She will pick off 2 or 3 points today if she's given the chance. Now, Clodagh McGrath is assisting Niamh Kilkenny today, and it's Clodag's first All-Ireland final. So I think from that point of view, nerves are going, it's a senior All-Ireland Camogie final, nerves are going to play a part there. Julia has amassed a few All-Ireland, so she's been around a little bit longer. So if the two of those girls are to go head-to-head in a game that, there could be nothing in it, I would expect that Julia to get on top. I think whoever gets on top at midfield could have a serious bearing on this game.
Veronica Curtin, would you share that view of Anna's?
Yeah, I would. Galway are going to be looking to Niamh Kilkenny today to lead the charge. She has done it all year, and they'll be looking for that again today. And Aisling Thompson, Julie White and the Cork team, they're 2 experienced players, so they will be dictating matters there as well. And I wouldn't be actually surprised if Ora Cotter joined them at times during the game if she fell deep into midfield to carry the ball, because they have Amy O'Connor and Katrina Mackey there in the full forward line that are willing to get goals. So I think, midfield is going to be...
Where will, from a Galway point of view, where do Galway have to play well to win this match?
Well, they've 2 new beginners starting in the half-back line today. Their first senior All-Ireland, Siobhan Cohn and Shauna Healy. That's a big position there for Shauna Healy. I'd like to see Shauna settling down the first 10 or 15 minutes, getting onto a few balls and coming out with the ball so she can just settle her nerves, because it is a big position to be asked to play in. Other than that, they need to get balls into Ailish O'Reilly. Ailish O'Reilly is a fantastic forward. She can score goals. They need to get the ball into her.
Well, we saw Anna in the match we were just watching a little bit earlier on, the intermediate final. The problem, but if you don't get that ball into your strikers, then you're in trouble. And Kildare will look back on their final and say, maybe this is something we should have done differently. Yeah,
and I think if you look at Cork's half-back line, they have Rena Buckley and Gemma O'Connor. I mean, Gemma's in her 4th year of playing. I mean, Rena Buckley between football and Camogie is 14 All-Ireland medals, going for 15, which is a phenomenal record. Both of those are extremely experienced players. So what Galway will have to do is try and absolutely just take them out of the game. Go direct, hit the ball in long over their heads into the full forward line. Another part, I think, Gemma O'Connor on Niamh McGrath today. Niamh McGrath is coming in with 23 points, and she's a young player that has a bright future for Galway. If she can get on top, Gemma will sit back in the pocket and Gemma will read the game. It'll be interesting to see who wins that battle as well.
As you can see from our shots here at Croke Park, the sun is even beginning to shine here at headquarters for this senior final, and that is definitely good news after the morning that we've had here in Dublin. Anna Geary, Cork in the parade, you led them around last year. At this stage, are you just trying to concentrate on your own game, or is all this distracting?
It is, and I think anyone that says, you treat it as another game, it's silly, because you're playing in front of a much larger crowd than you're used to.
Of course.
You've got the build-up, you've got the guard escort, you're staying even the night before, you're coming up and you're staying in a hotel. But I think the most important thing is to be aware of it and to take it in. Like I would always have said last year, is like to take it in and acknowledge it, and acknowledge there's more nerves than normal, and acknowledge there's a bigger crowd. But use it to drive you on, because when your body gets nervous, it's a sign that it's game time. You have to use that adrenaline. You can either use it in a negative way and it can inhibit you, or you can use it in a positive way to drive you on. Some of these players have been here a long time. Some might never be back here again. But it's just Camogie. They still have to strike the ball. They still have to put the ball over the bar, hooks and blocks, and the of the work rate. And I think once they're aware of the occasion, but they know that they have a job to do, then that should settle them down.
All right, well, there's no point in asking the two girls who they think is going to win, because I know the answer to that one. But the question is the O'Duffy Cup down by the banks of the Lee, or, in fact, over to Galway Bay? In the commentary box for this afternoon's final are Therese O'Callaghan, and she joins Marty Morrison.
Thank you very much, Michael. Well, today Cork are seeking their 26th All-Ireland title, and if they are the team climbing the steps of the Hogan stand later this afternoon, they will then be sharing the top spot with Dublin, who are already on 26 All-Ireland titles. Just for the record, by the way, Kilkenny are on 12, but amazingly it's 21 years since they brought home the O'Duffy Cup, the symbol of ultimate glory to the banks of the Nora. Wexford, Antrim, Tipperary and Galway are the only other counties that form that exclusive group of All-Ireland winners. If Cork are at the top or close to it, Galway are bringing up the rear with just 2 All-Ireland senior titles to their credit. The first in 1996 and the second was just 2 years ago, and amazingly Galway manager Tony Ward was in charge 19 years ago as well as in 2013. He was also the man that indeed won the intermediate and senior titles on the same day 2 years ago. So Tony Ward has been making his own bit of history quietly and efficiently. Well, considering the Camogie Association is over 100 years old, it's surprising to learn that the first All-Ireland wasn't played until 1932, when 10 counties participated. And a Mayo man called Sean O'Duffy donated a cup that is still the ultimate prize today. Great atmosphere, as Michael told you a short time ago. Champions. The fact that Cork are here at all is quite an achievement when you consider that 10 of last year's squad are not involved this year for a variety of reasons. 3 players, Anna Geary, as you know, is with us here in the Sunday game, and later will be joining the Marty squad on Radio 1. Callahan and Jenny O'Leary decided to retire, and when you consider that between those 3 players alone they'd won 18 All-Ireland medals, their loss in terms of talent and experience to the team is huge. Ray Kelly, we wish him well. It's his very first All-Ireland senior camogie final. The teams are in the huddles. The last few words coming from the respective captains: Aisling Thomason from Milford and Cork, Niamh Kilkenny from the Pearsons Club in Galway. Galway won the toss. They're playing from right to left because we're in the unusual position of being on the 7th floor of the Cusack stand. So we're looking at the reverse angle of what we normally do. So Galway playing from Hill 16 down to the Davin end. Who'll be celebrating around 5:15 or so? Will it be Cork? Will it be Galway? Galway may be the form team. They've already beaten Cork twice. Can they do it a third time? The 2015 All-Ireland Senior Camogie Final is up and running, and away we go. Ball comes down towards the left half-back and right half-back position. That's Siobhan Cohen and Lorraine Ryan. Galway. Gathering here is Catherine Finnerty. Going left and right, hopping the ball, still on the slither. Good defending by Rena Buckley, who never gave up. Trying to gather it is Maeve Cahalan. A little bit of stalemate. They're just outside the D. Number 5 there, that's Rena Buckley. Number 13 for Galway is Catherine Finnerty. And it's Buckley that comes away with it, lays it off. And it's Cork that come away with it. Ball is not a great one, intercepted rather easily by Siobhan Cohen, who sends it back down towards the Hill 16. Gathered cleanly on this occasion by Pamela Mackey. Had a really good game in the semi-final. The referee has blown his whistle and is the first free of the match to Cork. Well, giving us an insight beside me is my good friend and 3 times All-Ireland medalist with Cork, Therese O'Callaghan.
Yes, it started at a hectic pace anyway, Marty. I suppose I'm looking down at the forward line there, and at the moment they're just moving around, but they've started with Hannah Looney in the corner, Breach Cockery at full forward, and Amy O'Connor in the corner. So straight away tactics come into play.
Jim O'Connor taking the free, gets it up for us Julia White, front of the Hogan stand. That's Finola Keeley from St. Thomas's Club as the number 22. But, she's filling in today for the unfortunate injury that happened to Emma Kilkelly. It's a cruciate injury, but it's coming away with it. Good run here by Orla Cotter, hand passing it into the middle, but it falls nicely for this player. It's a chance here for Aisling Thompson, and that's over the bar. First score of the match is to Cork, but really the ball should have been cleared from a Galway perspective.
Yes, I think Siobhan Cohn there just let the ball, took her eye off it probably at the last minute, and a great score there from midfielder and captain Aisling Thompson.
Susan Erner from Aircourt between Clymer and Ballinasloe with the puck out. Fionnuala Keely gets a hurley to it, but again it's Cork that's getting into their stride in the early stages, pumping that ball out towards the corner. Siobhan Cohen is going to leave it. Good play by Sarah Dervin, took control early, comes straight down for as the point scorer for Cork, the only scorer so far in the game, Aisling Thompson. There's Jim O'Connor, who lets fly. Susan Erner calls to her fullback. Sarah Dervin says, I'll deal with that, which she does. Ball comes down for as Pamela Mackey. It's a fast opening couple of minutes to this All-Ireland final. Mackey into the centre. There's Jim O'Connor, who steps away from the challenge, gives it on for the midfielder. That's Julia White, who's playing as up in the half-forward line. There are several positional switches, as Therese was mentioning. Second chance for Cork. This ball, however, is going to the left and wide. So 3 minutes gone, just over 3 minutes. Cork 1 point, Galway no score.
Yes, I mean, the pace of this game, I mean, the Cork, I think, are probably showing better at this early stage, Marty. Aisling Thompson at midfield, you know, she looks very pumped up for this match and got the opening point, very involved in the game so far.
Cork manager, Paddy Murray, just giving some indication along the sideline that he wants a little bit of support there from colleagues for an injured player perhaps, as the ball comes in for Orla Cotter, who lets fly from between the 45 and 65. The hurley might be broken, but the joy is for Cork, as that goes straight between the posts. It's Cork 2 points, Galway no score.
Yeah, fantastic start for Cork, you know, and that's going to settle them into this game, no end. Galway, I'd say at this stage, you know, they're a bit at sixes and sevens. Midfield in Cork, I think, is really on top at the moment, and Orla Cotter is kind of middle as well.
Mighty puck out again from Susan Erner. Batted down for Fionnuala Keely to gather. Stopped this time by Maeve Cahalan. Lays it off. Here comes once again Julia White, who's operating down that right flank in front of the Hogan stand. Lays it off inside. There's a chance here for more scores for Cork. This is Hannah Looney. Killer waits. Killer rejoices not on this occasion. Ball is wide. And that is the second wide in the match for Cork, but they do have 2 points in the scoreboard. Galway struggling, Therese, to get past the Cork half-back line.
Yes, but if you're looking down the pitch here from our viewpoint, Marty, you can see they're crowding out around the middle of the field, and Cork are inclined to play a bit defensive, but they're being caught here now because they've left Heather Cooney unmarked.
It's Heather Cooney that gets the short puck out from her goalkeeper, Susan Erner. Going forward here is Clodagh McGrath from the Sarsfields Club around the new in area. Dropping this in. Is it over the bar? It is. What about that for a response by Galway? It's their first after 11 minutes, but full credit to Niamh McGrath, who took it on, and from a very difficult angle. Great running here by Clodagh. Gives it to her sister Niamh, and it flew between the posts.
Yes, and it came from that quick puck out from Susan Erner to Heather Cooney, who was unmarked in the corner. So Cork have to be careful if they're pulling their players out the field that they're not getting caught on the quick puck out from Galway.
Referee has blown his whistle here, so it's a free for Orla Cotter from the St. Catherine's Club. Ex-Loretta schoolgirl in Fermoy, twice an All-Star, last year in 2008. Played full forward last year, but enjoying the freedom of playing at right half forward, and she is an ace free taker. It's her second point of the game. One from play, one from a free. Good day's work so far for this young hurler, young Camogie star, Orla Cotter. Susan Erner, Galway Player of the Year back in 2003. Ball is pucked out. Still, chasing is Aisling Thompson. Well hooked. Sideline ball goes to Galway. Aisling Thompson is pleading that it should be the other way, but the linesman had no doubt. It's a sideline ball for Galway, going to be taken by Aoife Donoghue from Mullya. She played in the 2013 intermediate final, and she gathers the ball but loses out. Heavy rain in Dublin early this morning, and indeed nationwide, wherever you're watching. Certainly in Dublin, I can tell you, it was lashing out of the heavens. But thankfully now, we have a bit of sunshine, would you believe? The free is quickly taken. Jim O'Connor to Orla Cotter, trying to get inside the Galway cover. But it's a free again from almost the same position that she took a free a short time ago. Centre half back Shauna Healy fouling. Referee clearly indicating to the Galway number 6 to not be fouling as much, just giving her a little finger wagging, as Orla Cotter is going to stand over this free. 2 points so far. She has her own unique style of free taking, but it works. Dead straight in front of the post, dead straight over the crossbar. 3 points for Orla Cotter.
You know, Galway can't afford to be giving away any free place balls there to Orla Cotter, but she's deadly accurate from any range from midfield in.
By the way, little or no wind as well. It's now turning out to be an ideal day for this game of Camogie, but the conditions and Croke Park pitch is in brilliant condition. I say the groundspeople have done a tremendous job over the last couple of months, keeping it in nick despite all the games going on. Full marks to them. Meanwhile, it's Galway on the attack. Molly Dunn trying to get the ball into the middle. As Galway come in search of scores. This one doesn't really matter where it went because the referee had already blown his whistle and he's given a free to Galway.
I don't know if that was a score or not, Marty, but the advantage didn't seem to play it. Ray Kelly called back. The free seemed to take place out and further near the sideline. But again, that's, you know, Niamh McGrath is a very accurate free taker, so you know, this should possibly be a score for her as well.
No score given, Therese, just the free. So there's a chance here for Galway. And
it's a line ball.
It's a sideline. Well, the signals are a bit confusing between the referee and the linesman. Just check. I think even Niamh McGrath is a bit confused as well.
It's a free. Is that not?
Free, Therese. Right along the sideline. Here she comes. This one is, and the referee again is going across because we're all a little bit confused, and I think so too was Niamh McGrath. The referee, Ray Kelly, wants the slither.
Retaken, I think. Is it? No?
And Tony Ward is there as well, asking what it is. He's not going to give a throw ball.
I think it was the method of her free taking that he didn't like.
And he gives a throw ball because of that. Anyway, there's more stalemate here. And the referee wants just 2 players, Jim O'Connor and Niamh McGrath. Gemma from Cork, Niamh from Galway. There's a little touch of the slither to from the hurley, and away comes Cork, relieving the pressure momentarily at least. Stopped in their tracks, pulled on first down by Leanne O'Sullivan. Orla Cotter is there, bursting forward. Challenges going in. Remember, these teams, this is their 3rd meeting this season. Galway have won the 2 previous clashes, the league final and the first round of the championship. And again, the referee blows his whistle, and he's giving a free to Cork.
Yes, I think the foul there was committed by Finola Keeley, who comes in today, of course, to replace the injured and the unfortunate Emma Kilkelly, who picked up a cruciate injury in the All-Ireland semi-final against Wexford.
This was a bit of a wild swing, as you can see from Finola Keeley. That's why the free was given. The confusion earlier for everybody, including Niamh McGrath, whether it was a sideline ball or indeed a free.
I think she must have fouled the ball on the sliotar maybe, or the sliotar on the hurley. There's another way you can't.
Left it on it, yes, I understand, yeah. Orla Cotter going to take this. No doubt about her free-taking ability as the ball drops in. Galway should have the situation under control, but not for very long. relieve the pressure. Here comes Siobhan Cohen, laying it off. Far as Niamh Kilkenny, the captain, in stature and in leadership. Away she goes. The Pearce is dropping it in. Oh, it's a good ball, and was the full forward Molly Dunn foul. The referee has arrived. He's given a free in. Molly Dunn is protesting, or claiming she was blatantly fouled, and once again Ray Kelly arrives on the scene. He's taken out his notebook. He's going to book the
Laura Tracy.
Cork full back, Laura Tracy, and it's indicating exactly why he's going to book her here.
Yes, I'd imagine that she did foul Molly Dunn. She was holding on to her as the ball was coming in. But that's the first time we've seen Niamh Kilkenny get on the ball, and what a run down the centre, and I mean, perfect pass into the forward line.
Niamh McGrath takes the free and gets the point, the second of the match. Galway have been slow to settle, but the league champions are beginning to find their rhythm. This was the foul. Clearly Laura Tracy fouled Molly Dunn here. Referee correct. Puck out taken from Aoife Murray, sister of the Cork manager, Toddy Murray, as they go back into the attack. Here comes Julia White, continuing to exert pressure and win a lot of ball in front of the Hogan. 3 Galway players around her. Coming away with it, however, is number 9, that's Clodagh McGrath. This time the referee gives the free to Galway.
I think it's taken Galway a while to get used to the way Cork are setting up. They're pulling their players out the field, but obviously they know well how effective Niamh Kilkenny can be around the middle of the field, and they're trying to curtail her running game, and that's why Galway, I think they're beginning to come more into the game now that they've come to terms with it.
Susan Erner takes the free, drops it down inside the Cork half-back line. Gemma O'Connor gets her fingertips to it and then gathers it. What a great player. Playing in her 11th All-Ireland final. Going for her 7th All-Ireland medal. And I know her mom, Cher, is watching. Great player herself. We wish her well as she's watching Gemma, her daughter, play in this All-Ireland final. Ball is sent down, knocked away almost by Amy O'Connor. Didn't quite gather it. Under pressure is Heather Cooney. Coming away with it, however, is Breach Corkery, getting her first real touch of the ball, and that's going to be a free in for Cork.
Yeah, Therese Manton committing the foul there, but off of Breed's shoulder that time. Amy O'Connor making a run for the goal, totally unmarked.
And once again, it's Orla Cotter that's going to take this free. Just on the cusp of the day, and that's over the bar. 4 points for Orla Cotter, 3 of them from frees. This is where Breach Corkery got fouled by Therese Manton. She had to work hard for it. As Susan Erner takes the puck out, goes low trajectory, finds a teammate in Shauna Healy. Quick ball for Niamh Kilkenny. Still Kilkenny, line-hearted player. Bursting forward, Aisling Thompson was fouling, and that's going to be a free for Galway.
Yeah, another tremendous surge there from Niamh Kilkenny out from around the middle of the field. I must say, Susan Erner is very good with her puck outs. She's very accurate picking out her players.
Once again, it's Niamh McGrath that's going to take this. Scored the winning point in the semi-final against Wexford, and that is once again between the posts for her 3rd point. Free taking, such a vital component of this All-Ireland final so far when you think of Orla Cotter and Niamh McGrath. Puck out from Aoife Murray. Siobhan Cohen, well hooked. Good work, full credit to Amy O'Connor. And back comes Siobhan Cohen, knocks it off her hurl. Great work by the right half back from Ballindereen.
Yes, and Veronica was mentioning in the studio that Shauna Healy and Siobhan Cohen are 2 newcomers to that Galway half-back line. So that'll help her now settle into the game.
It's her first year on the team. Her brothers Sean and Kevin played for the Galway Miners in the past. In the centre, it's Niamh Kilkenny. laying it off. Niamh McGrath. Hand pass, and so important. Backfires Clodagh McGrath under a lot of pressure. Ball is wide. And that's Galway's first wide of the match, coming after 16 and a half minutes of play. Cork 5 points, Galway 3. It's pretty close between these two counties, as it has been. Just 2 and 3 points between them when they met previously, which I've mentioned.
Yes. Well, of course, this year Galway have beaten Cork twice, but I'd read very little into that, Marty, because today's occasion will just stand on its own, totally different.
Douglas's Julia White loses out on this occasion to Eilish O'Reilly, who comes out from corner forward looking for possession. Galway lose that decision. Linesman had no doubt that is going to be a sideline ball for Cork. Going across to take it is Pamela Mackey. Pamela and her twin sister Katrina, PhD students in UCC. And certainly for Douglas and for Cork, they're just wonderful players. Fourth year on the Cork team, All-Ireland college medalist with Christ the King in Turner's Cross. Played left half-back last year, but picked a cornerback. I think primarily, well, one of the reasons to keep an eye on Eilish O'Reilly. Lovely stick work by Orla Cronin. Inishkeen player gets it up towards Katrina Mackey. Sarah Durbin has slipped. Referee felt she was tripped rather than slipped, and that's going to be a free for Galway.
Everybody said, Marty, this game was going to go down to the wire, and I think from what we've seen already, there's nothing at all between these two teams. As Susan Earl now is going to go out and no doubt launch another attack.
Susan Erner from Aircourt. Also won an All-Star in 2011, 2013. And again, it's Jim O'Connor that's rock solid at centre half back. Orla Cotter, nice ball, had the vision to leave it in low. There's a chance here for Cork to stretch their noses in front. Is the accuracy just as good as the approach work as Orla Cronin gets her first point in this All-Ireland final. But great play, created by the vision of Jim O'Connor, but superb stick work by Orla Cronin.
Yeah, Jim O'Connor stepped back there. She read that really, really well, went in behind the players and picked Orla, who, was all on her own amazingly. Great finish by her.
Clodagh McGrath sends it down the wing. Going across to gather it is Rena Buckley. We'll be back here in Croke Park in 2 weeks' time, playing in the All-Ireland Ladies Football Final, going for her 10th All-Ireland medal. It's incredible, really. Leanne O'Sullivan laying it off low. It's Cork exposed this Galway defence. Going forward is the Cork captain, Aisling Thompson, and she's hit with a stone wall of her shoulder by Sarah Durbin, and the referee going to have a word with the Galway full-back, an All-Star 2014. She really is a powerful full-back. Name noted, yellow card I'm sure going to be shown.
Yes, Aisling is receiving attention there, but it's very difficult to knock Aisling off her perch. Yeah, she'll be fine.
Sarah Durbin standing firm. Aisling Thompson bravely going into the challenge. So a free for Cork inside the D. Cork captain is fine.
I think what's worrying there a little bit, Marty, is the way Cork are splitting open the Galway defence. They're picking out their players and they're running through them.
Orla Cotter is going for her 5th point of the match. Just one of those coming from play. And that's over the bar. The white flag is raised and Cork continue to dominate, leading now by 7 points to 3.
Yeah, but with a free taker like Orla Cotter, Galway just cannot afford to be giving away those types of frees.
Ball is put out into the middle. Well, if we're watching the intermediate final here in the Sunday game earlier, you'd have seen pouring rain. Now you can see sunshine. That kind of a strange day as Niamh Kilkenny, under tremendous pressure, floats this one in, but it's gone to the right and wide for Galway's 2nd wide of the game. And let's be honest, when Cork go forward, they look very dangerous. They're dominating Therese in crucial areas, midfield, half-back line, and it looks there is a potential there for more scores.
There is. They're all over the Galway backs, and I think that probably was a fear. It's just the way they're running at them, and Jim O'Connor is giving oceans of space there at centre back. I mean, somebody needs to get in on top of her and mark her.
Free for Galway. Over towards Niamh McGrath. The sideline ball almost. No, the linesman was looking anxiously. Here comes Ailish O'Reilly trying to come into the centre. Managed to get the ball in for Aoife Donoghue. Great defending by Cork. Cork back standing firm. Oh! Hefty challenge again. No free given on this occasion, and Cork go into counter-attack mode. This is Julia White. They keep it down the right wing, down towards Katrina Mackey. Battling hard with her is Heather Cooney. This is Mackey into the centre, dropping it in between, just inside the Galway 45. Shauna Healy is there for Galway. Managed to get her hands on the slither, comes away from the challenge, hand passes it away as Galway are finding themselves under severe pressure. Niamh McGrath steps inside the Cork half of the field, dropping this in. Aoife Murray underneath it. Easy ball for the Cork keeper. Lays it off quickly. Over first Pamela Mackey. Mackey hand passing again for Jim O'Connor, who made herself available. Battling hard is Maeve Cahalane, who plays her club Camogie with St. Finbarrs. Into the centre, driven. Cork seem to be available, but on this occasion the ball goes astray. Siobhan Cohen sends it back, but there's nobody home for Galway. Easy ball for Aoife Murray, who delivers it long. Aiming for that far over wing again towards Julia White. Great tenacity by Lorraine Ryan. Bursting forward, but runs into a wall of red jerseys. Once again it's Julia White. Challenged by Ailish O'Reilly. Pamela Mackey, nice 1-2 between the two Cork players. They just about keep it in play, and it goes off the stick of Breach Corkery, who's gone down into the Cork defence to help out. But a tremendous sequence of play and action. The players giving it absolutely everything.
Giving it everything, Marty. Niamh McGrath there, it was just a little bit outside her range, you know, when she took that pot from away out there. And here we see Aoife Donoghue. But Galway need to walk the ball in closer if they're to get scores.
It's Orla Cotter getting past that initial challenge. Over for Julia White. Into the space. Available is Breach Corkery. Going for her first score in this All-Ireland final, and it's over the bar. Breach Corkery gets her first point in the All-Ireland final 2015.
Yeah, Breach is in oceans of space there around the Cork forward line. She's moving around as she does best. I saw her down in the half-back line just a few moments ago, and great finish there from her.
Galway, the league champions, a little bit all over the shop, I would suggest, as Cork dominating nearly in every line. Orla Cotter lays it off quickly. This is Hannah Looney going forward. Gets the call from Amy O'Connor behind her. And again it's Siobhan Cohen, who's playing well at right half-back, clearing a lot of ball. Trying to get the ball over towards Niamh McGrath and Finola Keeley. And it's Aoife Donoghue that's at the end of it. Great run by Donoghue, still Donoghue, but runs in ultimately to Laura Tracy. Flicks it over first, Pamela Mackey. The All-Ireland champions are indeed playing like champions. Over first, Orla Cotter, inside her own 45-metre line. Diagonal ball. Sarah Dervin going up for it, gathering it. The second attempt, the ball sent down the middle over towards Niamh Kilkenny. Kilkenny getting away from Aisling Thompson. Her leadership is going to be tested this afternoon. A crowd of 16,610. Kilkenny is fouled inside the Cork half of the field. But while Galway are running and running, they need to reorganise their full forward line because they have nothing to aim at, Therese.
They're shapeless. That's what I can say about Galway at the moment. Absolutely shapeless. With a fantastic run there by Aoife Donoghue. But, she got swallowed by three Cork defenders. If there's three defenders around her, it means there's two Galway players loose. So she has to be looking over her shoulder to see who she can lay the ball off to.
It's 11 minutes since Galway got the last score. as we're heading towards half-time with just about 4 minutes to go or thereabouts. But great running by Niamh Kilkenny, but really Tony Ward has to reorganise his full forward line, because the full forward line coming out looking for possession because they're frustrated inside, with the result that when they ball, there's nobody in
Correct.
the crucial scoring area, as that ball is sent over the bar by Niamh McGrath. It's her 4th point of the match, 3 of them from frees. Galway stay in contention. All of Galway's scores coming from Niamh McGrath. Nobody else has scored for the league champions. Aoife Donoghue stopped on this occasion. Julie White knocked off her hurl by Aoife Donoghue. The linesman is indicating that it is a Cork ball, which is the correct decision. Paddy Murray must be well pleased there in the background with his Cork team, because they're playing like champions. This going to be taken by Orla Cotter. Putting it into the middle. Amy O'Connor is there with 3-4 Galway players, including Therese Manton. And it's that player again, Siobhan Cohen, who's coming out with it, laying it off for Finola Keeley. Now Galway. They have Cork backpedaling, but they need to deliver the ball fast. The ball from Keeley is a poor one. Of all the options available, Finola will be disappointed with that one.
Yeah, I mean, there were still 4 Cork backs to 2 Galway forwards, so she didn't have much options open to her, to be honest, but the long range shot, maybe she should just have kept on running and try and draw a player.
Tuck out from Aoife Murray. Comes down towards Orla Cotter, who continues to work so hard. Lays it off for Amy O'Connor from the St. Vincent's Club in the north side of Cork City. Amy has gone for the return pass, but Galway defensively seem to deal with it. Therese Manton is there, battling hard with Katrina Mackey. Galway coming out with it, but not for very far, as that goes off the stick of Shauna Healy, and that's going to be a sideline ball for Cork. 4 points between the teams, but let's be honest, Therese, Cork look by far the better team.
Cork are rampant, Marty, there's no question about it. You know, Galway would be delighted to arrive at half-time and Tony Ward to take them into the dressing room and just to reorganise themselves.
Mustn't concede anything from this sideline ball. Orla Cotter sends it across. Good vision again by Cotter, spotting that Julia White was available. She lays it off quickly and efficiently, as once again it's Orla Cronin. Sarah Derwin comes across to gather with it. Lorraine Ryan is there just outside her. Passes to Ryan, who clearly called for it. She lets fly, but Gemma O'Connor again under no great pressure. Her vision and her positional sense. She's not using a sat-nav, it's all instinctive, but she's getting on an awful lot of ball. She seems to know where the sliotar is going. Referee has blown his whistle, free for Galway, just inside their own half of the field. Into injury time here in Croke Park in this All-Ireland Senior Final. It's a pulsating contest. It's really intense at times, but Cork, to use Therese Callahan's phrase, rampant in the first half. And Galway, I think, will be happy enough if they can go in without conceding any more scores. If it stays at 8 points to 4, perhaps they can get a score before the break. There's a chance here. Finola Keeley is outside waiting for the pass. Eventually it comes to Keeley. Can Galway do something here? It's an easy ball for Aoife Murray. Didn't have the pace to go over the end line. Looks around to see who's available. Galway should have this numerically. They're there with Clodagh McGrath. Aoife Donoghue coming in is Heather Cooney. She loses out. It's Katrina Mackey that comes away with the sliotar glued to the hurling. Evil stick being used up in Douglas. It's Mackey with the shot. Susan Erner calls for it. Good goalkeeping. Comes up her line, flicks it forward as Galway survive by not conceding any more scores. The Siobhan Cohen again clears her line. Pretty impressive, I have to say. The All-Ireland champions Cork the dominant force. They found their rhythm early in the first half. For Tony Ward and his team, it's worrying. What can they do in the second half? They need to consider changing the full forward line in particular, or putting them deeper in, because at half-time, it's Cork 8 points, Galway 4 points. Analysis coming from Anna and Veronica and Michael right after the break.
Going to the ploughing? Visit RTE at the National Ploughing Championships 2015, Rathneska, County Laois.
Energia has the best dual fuel bundle on the market. But hurry, this offer won't be around for long. Switch and save today.
Switch to energia.ie.
Introducing the all-new Supermax 5-ounce beef burger. Fresh, never frozen, 100% Irish beef and cooked to order. Perfection. Supermax. Give your hunger what it wants.
मी 6 वर्षाची असताना अंतरावर शाळेत पायी जाते. ज्यावेळेस मी लहान होते त्यावेळेस मी आठवड्यातून 2 दिवस शाळेत जाऊ शकत नव्हते. गेल्या वर्षी मला चाइल्ड फंडकडून सायकल मिळाली. सायकल भेटल्यानंतर मी खूप आनंद झाले आणि माझा गृहपाठ मी पूर्ण वेळेवर पूर्ण करू शकले. मी शाळेला कधीही उशिरा शाळेला जात नाही.
Look for a safe place. Don't hurry, stop and wait. Look all around and listen before you cross the road.
Hi Annie, hey, let's go and play. But remember, you need the code to cross the road.
Download the Safe Cross Code app and get the code to cross the road.
It's half-time in this year's All-Ireland Camogie final. Cork leading Galway by 8 points to 4. There is a look at the scorecard from that first half, and I think the most significant point about that is look at Galway. The scores coming from one player, and those coming from frees. And Veronica here with me in studio. Veronica Curtin, from a Galway point of view, I don't think there's too many complaints about that. Galway surely have been playing second best in that first half.
Yeah, Cork have started with an intensity. They've really brought the game to Galway. Galway are finding it very hard to just get into the game and get into the intensity that Cork have brought. Like I suppose the forward line aren't been getting enough ball, number one. Like, you know, they need, in the second half, if they're going to get their forwards into it, they need to start working the ball up the field. At the moment, what they're doing is they're just landing high balls in. There seems to be no method to what they're doing. So I think it's because the intensity that Cork have brought to today that this is what's happening in Galway. So we'll be hoping that they'll have settled down now. It's probably a good thing that half-time came when it did for Galway. Like, it's very worrying that only one player has scored 4 points, you know, and most of it's coming from frees. Niamh Kilkenny being central to a lot that's going on through the middle there in the first half. So it's a good thing that the first half has come for Galway. They can go in now, settle down and regroup and see what they can do for the second half.
See, the thing about that, Anna, is from a Cork point of view, they've dominated that first half, but there is only 4 points. Now, it's a low-scoring game, obviously, but there's only 4 points in it. So Cork, for all their possession and domination of the game, are not necessarily showing it on the scoreboard.
No, I mean, Galway are still very much in contention for this. They started very, very slowly. I suppose, you know, Aisling Thompson, the captain for Cork, got the opening point. She's a small slip, like we said, you know, in the wet ball, slippery ground. Siobhan Cohen ran over the ball, but ever since she's regrouped and she's actually focused and she's had a remaining really good first half. Both sets of backs are doing really well.
Yes.
I think from the point of view of Cork's half backline are really getting on top. Like, Galway are finding it really hard to break that. Like Veronica said, Niamh Kilkenny is trying to penetrate through that defence, but she's finding it really, really difficult. Winning the frees, but they wanted to be scoring from play. I mean, Galway had 9 goals coming into this All-Ireland final, and they never looked like they were scoring goals. They seem to have no shape at all. They're hitting these big high balls into nobody inside. I mean, we saw 1 or 2 really poor wides there. And and unless they start working the ball up the pitch, Sarah Dervin and Lorraine Ryan in the defence, they're working the ball really well out. They're looking up and picking out the players, whereas that doesn't seem to be translating at the end of the pitch. And like, if Galway have any chance in coming back here, they're going to have to start picking out their players, because Gemma O'Connor is lording at centre back, picking up all the loose ball.
And the other thing, Veronica, that is noticeable from that first half from a Galway point of view is Galway seem to be determined to carry the ball into the Cork defence, but they're running into traffic all the time.
Yeah, and they seem to be doing it down to the middle. Now, in all fairness to Niamh Kilkenny, she is trying to run at the defence and trying to get in there, you know, and she has, I think, 3 points out of the 4 has come off her doing that. So maybe Galway need to do that or run off Niamh. Like Niamh, they know Niamh's game at this stage. Niamh is a person who puts the ball in the hurl and she goes, you know, she starts the attack.
Yes.
But at the moment, there doesn't seem to be anyone supporting her coming off her shoulder. And really, like, yeah, we've fantastic players in the full forward line, and they haven't brought them into the game at all.
Mind you can't take away, Anna, from the fact that Cork, when they have got the ball and have got a little bit of space, are taking some good scores. And I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
It is, I suppose, from Cork's point of view, like, they're very much playing with space in their forwards. Orla Cotter here running through, that's what she does best. She's that's a characteristic run from Orla. Like the slip that I mentioned there from Siobhan Cohen and Ashton, like an easy point to put over the bar. It settled Cork straight away. I mean, from Cork's point of view, you know, they're winning primary possession, they're winning aerial possession. Bridge Cork making these runs through the pitch, watching for the player. Again, Orla Cotter on hand to put a long-range point over the bar. Like, Galway never really settled. They've too much space for the Cork, and the Cork will punish you if you give them the space. Great, like Orla Cronin there at number 11, her first All-Ireland final, a great point from her. And again, Bridge Corkery. These girls have the experience and the composure to put points over if you give them the space. When Galway actually put pressure on them, they are finding difficulties. But when you give them the space, it's easy for Cork to put them over the bar at will.
Because we have to remind ourselves, Veronica, that Galway have beaten Cork twice this year. They've beaten them in the league final and they've beaten them in the championship already. So it's not like they should be in any way feeling second best on a day like today.
No, but in all fairness, in days like this, like, experience shines through, and Cork have serious experience on their team, like Breach Corkery there, and as we mentioned earlier on, and Orla Cotter, Gemma O'Connor. Them 3 girls are really standing up for Cork today, head and shoulders over nearly everybody on the field, and you can just see the experience of All Ireland Day shining through from them. Like, Gemma is just sweeping across the half back line. She's reading every play. I think maybe using for her puckouts now in the second half, maybe if she spreads them wide and try to avoid down the middle on top of Gemma, because Gemma has the ability to dictate a game. So the players are really shining through for Cork.
Yeah, all right. We have another break to take here on the Sunday game. Who will be claiming this year's All-Ireland Senior Camogie title? The second half coming up.
The McDonoughs are back.
I'm finally getting out of Ireland.
It's not going far, but at least it's getting out.
So I'm hoping and praying that this year will be the year for me to do a city. Why not stand out instead of blending in?
The new series of Meet the McDonoughs, Tuesday at 9:30 on RTE2.
मी 6 वर्षाची असताना अंतरावर शाळेत पायी जाते. ज्यावेळेस मी लहान होते त्यावेळेस मी आठवड्यातून 2 दिवस शाळेत जाऊ शकत नव्हते. गेल्या वर्षी मला चाइल्ड फंडकडून सायकल मिळाली. सायकल भेटल्यानंतर मी खूप आनंद झाले आणि माझा गृहपाठ मी वेळेवर पूर्ण करू शकले. मी शाळेला कधीही उशिरा शाळेला जात नाही.
We started with a bun. But then we added potato flakes. That's right, potatoes. Then 100% beef. But we said it needs to be more Irish. So boom, Charleville cheddar, more beef, and 100% Irish bacon. Rashers. Then kale slaw and Ballymaloo relish. Oh yeah. Then we stuck a load of flags in it, put it in an oak box on a woolen blanket in the burren, and played this with your man again. No, we didn't. Because this is all about the ingredients. The McMore. It's the best of Ireland in a bun. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
By the way, keep an eye out later on for your chance to enter our big Sunday game competition, because it's your chance to be heading off perhaps to Thailand. We were chatting about what we've seen in the first half in the break there, girls, and we're making the point that you were saying, and it's not so much that Galway are out of the game, it's just that they haven't really been in the game.
Yeah, I think they're very much leaving the games past them by. They will be going in delighted that they're only 4 points down, because they really, I mean, apart from like the likes of Niamh Kilkenny and one or two more, they haven't really turned up. Now, Sarah Durbin is playing well in full back, and I know she picked up a yellow there, but she is doing her best, despite the fact that she's being put under a lot of pressure. But around that middle third of the field, Galway don't seem to be like at the races at all. They don't seem to be bringing that intensity that we've seen from them earlier on in the championship. And if you look at Galway in the All-Ireland semi-final against Wexford, they were made fight to the bitter end for that. And they're not bringing that intensity. You would expect them to have started really well, but it's Cork have been doing all the running. And I think if you look at even Galway's second score, it was a Siobhan Cohen flick. It went to Niamh Kilkenny. She ran straight through the centre, ball into Molly Dunn, and it was a subsequent free and a yellow card for Laura Tracy, the full-back. They haven't put that pressure on Cork apart from that one time, and if they can do that a bit more, they might get the return out of it.
Okay, so Veronica, we know what's not going right for Galway. How do they change this, though? What, like Anna said, what else do they need to do?
Okay, well, straight away, they need to strengthen up their half-forward line. I would actually consider bringing Ailish O'Reilly out, because Ailish, now the first half is past Ailish, and Ailish, if anyone is going to get Galway scores today, it's Ailish O'Reilly. Maybe leave Molly Dunn on the full forward line, because Molly is a very opportunist player. You know, she'd pick off a goal, so she would. Other than that, Siobhan Cohen is having a fine game, wing back, in all fairness to her, and Lorraine Ryan is playing fine. I'm not too worried about the Galway backs.
Yes.
I am worried about the Galway forwards. Like, the ball is coming out way too fast. They need to hold it up in there, you know. So, yeah.
But I suppose, though, all right saying that, but, you know, that's also compliments to the Cork defence. Because if Galway are not getting scores, then obviously somebody's responsible for it.
Yeah, I mean, they're very, very tight to their players. You know, anytime there's breaking ball, you're seeing the likes of Gemma O'Connor and Rena Buckley coming out there on numerous occasions. And these girls are not afraid to fight the ball. They know the importance of winning this All-Ireland. I mean, Galway were there in 2013. You would expect them to really up their performance in the second half, because they'll know that that type of performance isn't going to win you an All-Ireland.
Sure. Cork are leading the match, but any aspect of the Cork's performance, Anna, that would kind of give you any cause of concern?
Well, I suppose, I mean, they are taking the wrong options at times. You know, Hannah Looney had two, by her own standards, bad wides there in the opening start of that game. And I suppose really they're rushing it at times. They're taking the wrong options. Julia White was making great runs up the wing, but at times there's no support player there to take the pop pass. Trina Mackey has really come into the game as well in the second half, so we should expect, or in the first half, so we should expect more from her in the second half now.
Veronica, Galway out on the pitch, waiting for Cork. They'll be out shortly. Are you confident Galway can turn this around?
Yeah, look, we're only 4 points down and we haven't got into the game at all. We really haven't got up to the intensity that Cork are playing at. They won't be panicking. Like I said, the backs they're not doing too bad. You know, they're holding their own. There hasn't been really no goal chances for Cork, which they'll be very happy with. It's about creating our own chances ourselves from midfield in. Niamh Kilkenny is fantastic at it. Aoife Donoghue is starting to do it a bit. We're just getting the ball and she's running and she's trying to create an attack. They just need support, someone coming off their shoulders to create the chances.
There's one thing, Anna, for sure in this second half. A goal for either one side or the other would change the complexion of this game. If Cork were to get a goal, you'd be entitled to feel that they're going to drive on because the way it's been going in the first half. However, if the goal, say a goal came to Galway, you had a whole new ball game.
Absolutely. I mean, in last year's All-Ireland final, we were down 5 points, and it wasn't until we got that first goal it really ignited our performance, and it almost eradicated all the bad misses and underperformance that we had in the first half. If Galway can come out in the second half and start really well, and like you said, either get a goal or a few points, then it'll really up their performance. But Orla Cotter's moved to midfield now as well, and she's going to be making those runs all day long. It's up to Galway now to counteract that.
It is. There's a change on the Galway team as we go back to the commentary box to Therese and to Marty. Marty, you tell us about that.
Thank you very much, Michael. Yes, the word is that Jessica Gill is on for Galway, and facing Catherine Finnerty in the full forward line. So that former All-Star, of course, Camogie Stars. We start the second half. 4 points between the teams, and as Veronica and Anna were saying to Michael there, 4 points, nothing in the game of hurling, nothing in the game of Camogie. But Galway really requiring just to restructure the shape of their team, and perhaps part of that restructuring was bringing in Jessica Gill, because her experience will be vital.
Yes, Jessica Gill, very strong player, and she's been introduced on and off throughout the year with them, and she's no stranger to these big occasions, and I think she's a strong player as well, and she'll add that little bit of strength to their attack.
Well, we've all the seasons all in one day here at Croke Park, because normally when we're in the 7th floor of the Hogan stand, it's freezing. We're on the 7th floor of the Cusick, and we could end up, Therese, with a suntan here because it's gorgeous, believe it or not. I didn't think I'd say that at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So Galway with the free, going to be taken by Niamh McGrath, who has scored all of Galway's points, 4 of them. She's just outside the Cork 65. She really hits it a mighty whack, and it's gone over the crossbar. It's exactly what the doctor ordered if you happen to be from Galway, because that was a superb puck of a sliotar from the middle of the field.
Absolutely magnificent, and that's the start that Tony Ward will want from his girls. 3-point game, you know, nothing at all in it now, Marty.
Puck out from Aoife Murray. And under a little bit of pressure is Heather Cooney, brother, of course, of Conor Cooney, who came on as a substitute in the All-Ireland final just last week, as Galway with Molly Dunn in front of the Hogan, dropping this in, knocked away on this occasion. Cork find themselves under pressure. Galway have already increased the intensity, but they need more scores. Here's the player and captain who actually got the first score for Cork, Aisling Thompson. Brilliant block down, it must be said. And Galway still retain possession. Crossfield ball is in at Aoife Donoghue. Inside the D, the referee has blown his whistle from further out. None of us heard it. It's a free in.
Yeah, I think it was a chop there. And there's a great block first by Niamh Kilkenny, but this is another opportunity, you know, for Niamh McGrath, and you know, this could very well be a 2-point game now from in the first half, where Cork were so dominant.
So here she is, Niamh McGrath, daughter of Hopper McGrath, going for her 6th point of the match, and indeed Galway's. Inside the Cork 45, the umpires are perfectly positioned. They're going for the white flag, and it is indeed just 2 points between the teams. Cork leading by 8 points, Niamh McGrath 6 points.
Yes, and from opposite sides of the pitch as well, she is so accurate, and we from our point here, the sun is in her eyes as well, so they're 2 crucial scores for Galway.
The puck out from Aoife Murray, drops down into the Galway half of the field. Sarah Durbin is there, so too is Lorraine Ryan. Waiting patiently is centre half back Shauna Healy from Ardgrahan. Bit of a stalemate here, and the referee is going to give a throw ball. But it's a great start for Galway, considering that for nearly all of the first half they were outplayed, and yet they only were 4 points adrift. Now 2. 3 minutes into the second half. Hannah Looney is in there for Cork, trying to dig it out. Cork have it once more. Ball is dropping in. Susan Erner leaves it hot, gathers it, but not cleanly. There's a chance here for Cork, and Galway are all over the shop. An unusual, uncharacteristic mistake by Susan Erner caused the hassle and the pressure. Katrina Mackey is there, coming through the middle. Great work indeed. It's still Cork that retain the possession. Galway seem to have regrouped. Coming away with it is Lorraine Ryan, and Galway survive, but dithering with the sliotar again. They really should clear their lines far more efficiently and get the ball out of the danger zone. The referee has blown his whistle, and he's giving a free to Cork. But palpitations if you're from Galway. Susan Erner, always dependable, just took her eye off this. Amy O'Connor put the pressure on, and in comes Julia White, and Galway defending was courageous.
Yes, I think it was Heather Cooney made that block down there. I'd say, Marty, you know, they'll be happy to concede. Yes, it was Heather Cooney. They'll be happy to just concede a point here, because that looked like it could have been a goal.
Orla Cotter going to take this. Score of 5 points in the first half. In that unusual style. But it works for her, dropping it in. Susan Erna gets a touch to it, and it's rebounded and back into the net, but the referee has said disallowed goal. Square ball. Referee was right in position. He immediately made the call, and it is a free out for Galway. But the goalkeeper, Susan Erna, was under pressure here with this high ball. Remember, she's facing the sunshine, and it's difficult to see, as we can confirm.
Yeah, but Amy O'Connor was right in on top of her, so a let off for Galway, but the correct call.
Ball is just on the 65-metre line, and it's a free again for Galway. This is going to be taken by Niamh McGrath. She's keeping her county in contention for this All-Ireland title. Just inside the 65-metre line. This one is dropping in and dropping over the bar. All 7 points. It's a one-woman show in Croke Park.
Marty, they won't mind who's putting the ball over the bar. She's measuring them just precisely, just over the black spot. I mean, that's tremendous point taking, absolutely tremendous.
2 of those frees, as you say, Therese, dropping just over the crossbar, but from way out the field. Scoreline, Cork 8 points, Galway 7 points. Nothing between these two teams, and this is much better from Galway, although on that occasion they give the ball away again to Jim O'Connor, which is another part of the game plan that they're going to have to rectify, because Niamh McGrath, when she's having a stormer, somebody needs to take up Jim O'Connor, because she's dominating at centre half back. Lovely little bit of blocking there, sideline ball for Cork.
Yes, Niamh McGrath was off of Jimma there, but in fairness to her, she was expecting the pass, and that's why she moved away from Jim O'Connor in this instance. But I do agree, Marty, Jim O'Connor has oceans of space there as she's commanding from centre back.
Sideline ball going to be taken by Emer O'Sullivan, who came on for Hannah Looney a while ago. Not a great one. Out comes Clodagh McGrath. They have engines. The diesel and the petrol is now at full power, because Galway are a different team in this second half. And obviously Tony Ward was hoping that nothing major like a goal would be conceded in that first half, but they are playing with more passion.
Oh, they've upped the intensity big time. Just on the sub for Cork there, Emer Sullivan has come into the Cork team. Emer, we would remember, got player of the match in last year's All-Ireland final from wing back. She'll add a lot of pace to the Cork team, and she's been injured for a lot of the championship. May have been disappointed not to start today, but certainly that's a great plus for Cork to have Emer into the game now.
Referee Ray Kelly having a word with the Cork captain, explaining exactly why she's going to be shown a yellow card for that infringement. And the throw ball is on the Cork 65-metre line. Orla Cotter, Orla Cronin, Niamh Kilkenny, Clodagh McGrath. 10, 11, 8 and 9 for the respective counties. Coming forward is Finola Keeling. Orla Cotter blocks her way. Trying to pick the slither up as Clodagh McGrath. Head down and away she goes again. Emer O'Sullivan is the 18 for Cork. Ball is up, and again it's Jim O'Connor doing this sweeping roll. And this is something that Galway really have to rectify if they are going to win the All-Ireland. A clash in Croke Park. Referee has acknowledged, but he allows the advantage. He's going forward, his corner forward, Katrina Mackey. It took 3 Galway defenders to stop her. The ball is still not got out of the danger zone as Julie White tries to kick it away. Here comes Sarah Durbin. Assertive. Pulled on first time by Shauna Healy, and now the referee has blown his whistle and says we have to hold play here.
Breach Cork, I think.
Breach Cork is definitely the Cork player that's down injured.
Lorraine Ryan, I think.
And Lorraine Ryan could be the other, as you said, Therese. Let's just have a look at it here. This was a collision. Going for the ball, Breach Cork and Lorraine Ryan. And a hefty challenge on the 2 players, always with eye on the ball, but both feeling the pain at the same time.
Yeah, that's a nasty clash. But the action before that, just end to end, up and down. I mean, it's unrelenting at the moment.
Well, if you're a lip reader, you know exactly what she said. She hasn't lost her enthusiasm or passion.
Lorraine seems to be hurt there.
Lorraine Ryan, daughter of Pascal Ryan, and of course Pascal and his twin brother John were all part, and another brother, indeed Éanna, were all part of the Galway success story of the early 1980s. So when you mention the name Ryan, I can assure you Lorraine is continuing on the great tradition of the Ryans brothers, her dad and her uncles, in the game of Camogie, All-Ireland winning captain 2013. And to her great credit, as you would expect from a Ryan, she's back looking for more sliotar and for try and lift the Duffy Cup around 5 o'clock or thereabouts. Stalemate again, just between the 45 and 65 metre line, Cork side of the Galway side of the field. Orla Connor coming away with it is Lorraine Ryan, who's just recovered from that injury and collision with Breach Corkery, showing a lot of leadership. Sliotar going off Jessica Gill, and that's going to be a sideline ball for Cork.
Of course, Cork haven't scored yet, Marty, in the second half, you know. Probably a bit rocked by what Galway have brought to the table, you know, in this second 30 minutes.
Orla Connor laying it off as Katrina Mackey in hot pursuit. It's Aoife Donoghue. Mackey dropping it in, hovering, waiting for it is Breach Corkery, trying to make an angle for herself. Great defending by Galway. 4 Galway players, one of them is Sarah Dervin. Laying it off as Lorraine Ryan. 2 integral parts of this Galway 15 that are bidding for the Westerners' 3rd All-Ireland title. Grabbed by Niamh McGrath, laying it off quickly fires for Nola Keeley. Trying to go forward, still Keeley laying it across, fires Eilish O'Reilly. Cork defenders are there, one of them happens to be Rena Buckley. Hand passes it away, comes over, fires Emer Sullivan. Trying to show leadership, Emer, and she always has. Now takes perhaps too many steps. Referee disagrees, so does Tony Ward, because his decision is that Emer O'Sullivan was fouled. Free for Cork on the Galway 65 metre.
Yeah, great run there by Emer O'Sullivan. We were speaking about her earlier and what she would bring and the pace she'd bring to the Cork half-back line. And look what a catch there from Niamh McGrath. But again, great catch, but the finish wasn't as good.
Orla Connor with 5 points to her credit out of Cork's tally of 8. It's from way out the field. It's a dangerous ball. Batted away. Little hook puts the pressure again on Amy O'Connor. Has to show her soccer international skills by getting it back outside. Galway defending admirably. Breach Corkery is available to the right. Galway defending as if their lives depended on it. Shauna Healy stopped this time by Katrina Mackey. Here comes Siobhan Cohen, using the hand pass to get themselves out of trouble. Niamh Kilkenny surrounded. Orla Cotter makes a little bit of space for herself. Hits it and hits it just between the posts and over the bar. Classy score. Classy point by a classy player.
Galway had done so well to clear the ball, but they just didn't put the finishing touches to it. And Cotter does just what she's really very good at and just pop that over the bar. That's an important score for Cork, Marty. Almost a quarter of an hour gone. Their first score of the second half.
First score of the second half, almost 14 minutes gone to be very precise. Cork 9 points, Galway 7 points. Puck out from Susan Erna. Dark clouds now blocking off the sunshine, which makes it a little bit easier for everybody. Here's Jim O'Connor. Referee feels that the centre half back was fouled. Member of the Irish Defence Forces. She's based in Collins's barracks in Cork, and she served on the peacekeeping forces in Liberia and Chad and Lebanon. What a wonderful player. What a wonderful Camogie star she's been, going for her 7th All-Ireland final today.
No, she's a powerhouse at centre back, but I still cannot understand why Galway are not marking Gemma closer, but she's cleared an amount of ball, not alone now, but in the opening half as well.
Free going to be taken by Aoife Murray in her 10th season, 4 times in Ulster. Dropping this in. Sarah Durbin gets a touch to it. Ball skids along the surface. Siobhan Cohen under pressure. Hurley is gone. Both Hurleys are gone. But it's still Orla Cotter. Hurley back in hand for Julia White. Hurley gone again. Back out for Orla Cotter. Referee blows his whistle. Orla was fouled. It was a hesitant decision by the referee, I have to say. And it's only because Orla felt the pain and went down genuinely that he gave the free.
Yeah, it was, as you said, it delayed the action. Probably Cork a bit fortunate there, I think, to get that free. But the Galway defence are under a lot of pressure now. They're soaking the majority of it. But you just wonder how long will it be before Cork get through maybe for a goal, Marta.
The free going to be taken by Orla Cotter herself, having recovered from that infringement. 8 points to 4 at half-time. 16 minutes into the second half, it's 9 points to 7. Going for her 7th point of the match. Might be considered a little bit soft, but they're all valuable.
Absolutely, and no better woman to slot them over the bar. I mean, she's just vital to Cork today. And again, now they have pulled clear. While Galway brought it back to a points game, Cork have upped it again.
Puck out from Susan Erner. Picked up here by Emer O'Sullivan. Cork have found their rhythm again. Farrell's right corner back to Reyes Manton. Getting away from Amy O'Connor. Hand passes it into the middle. Coming forward is Shawnee Healy. Gets a touch to it. Bursting forward is Julia White. Head down is Katrina Mackey. Sending this one in. Hopping ball for the goalkeeper. Susan Erner deals with it. Sends it back down to that side of the field. Breaking ball. Picked up on this occasion by Ailish O'Reilly. Skipping away from the challenge of Ashton. She was fouled. Seemed a little bit harsh, I have to say, but it is a free.
A bit like the other end, I think. But again, when Galway were going through there, all the players were out around the 40 line. The options are limited for them.
Now, when you look at the replay, Therese, it was a soft free for Galway, as Niamh McGrath stands over this again, going for her county's 8th point. And this time it's gone to the right and wide. It's the first time I think she's missed from within her range, which is from the middle of the field. It's her 4th wide. It is Galway's 4th wide of the match. Scoreline remains 10 points to 7. Puck out from Aoife Murray. Lorraine Ryan gathers. Tries to hand pass it clear. Referee spotted the foul there. No question. And it is a free for Galway. Still time for Galway.
Yeah, I mean, that's one lady there, the 2013 winning captain, Lorraine Ryan. She's really driving them on. This is crucial now, because after missing the last point, to bring it back to 2 points.
Niamh McGrath, just inside the Cork 65-metre line. It's going to drop in around the large rectangle. There's an effort to back flick it. Still available, the slipper bounding all over the place. Here comes Aisling Thompson, trying to get away from the challenge of Jessica Gill. Clears her line. Added to. Galway have the possession once again, sending it back. It looks like 4 against 2 there, and it's Gemma O'Connor that comes in to sweep up and steps away from the challenge. Gemma hand passing it. You can drop the hurl in Camogie, you can't drop it in hurling. Ball into the middle. Orla Cotter stepping away. There is nobody near her at the moment. Flicks it forward for Breach Corkery. Coming forward with Siobhan Cohen and playing in her first All-Ireland final. Breach Corkery's pass is not a good one. And it's Galway that have it once more. Clodagh McGrath. Effort is blocked. Emer O'Sullivan sending it back, but sending it to the left and wide. Remains points between the teams. Susan Erner going short this time. Prayers Heather Cooney. Drives it past midfield into the Cork half of the field. Maeve Cahalan is the left half back. Wears a similar helmet indeed to her brother when he's playing with the Cork Oilers. Good work here by Niamh Kilkenny. Stepping into the challenge. About to be hooked by Julia White. Knew that. Hops the sliotar on the surface. Great work by Niamh Kilkenny. Still Niamh Kilkenny. But her effort is blocked. Comes back outside. There's Clodagh McGrath. Quick hands. Chance here for Galway. Jessica Gill. And that is left and wide for Galway's 4th wide of the match. 5th wide.
Yeah, I mean that's 2 points that have gone a begging now for Galway. And while they're very much in this game, but you know they're not as clinical as Cork are in front of the goals when taking their scores.
Just less than 10 minutes left in this All-Ireland final. Emer O'Sullivan, clash of the ash, front of the Hogan stand. Finola Keeley there. So too is Emer O'Sullivan. Effort is blocked down. Ball bobbling all over the place. The referee right beside him. Overfires Pamela Mackey. Pass into the middle. It's Cork looking for more scores. Breach Cork are driving it forward. It's 3 against 2. Siobhan Cohen is there again. Little jink to the right. Hand passes next. Has to be. No other option. Overfires Lorraine Ryan. Drops it into the middle. Waiting for this Finola Keeley. Finola steps into the middle. That's quite a good ball. Where's Jessica Gill? 22 to 21. Jessica Gill floating this one in. The goalkeeper comes off her goal line, but leaves it behind her. And it's cleared. Comes down for Maeve Cahalan. Inside her own D. Hand passes it back for Jim O'Connor. Anxious moment in the Cork defence. Waiting for the Siobhan Cohen as Galway step up a gear again in this All-Ireland final. Ball is blocked down for Niamh McGrath. Picking it up is Aoife Donoghue, flicking it forward. Does it have the legs? Does it have the strength? It has everything. Point Galway. Aoife Donoghue's first in the All-Ireland final, and it's back to the 2-point game.
Yeah, great score there from Aoife Donoghue. But what Galway need to do now, Sarah, yes, of course, looking back at the goal here, Aoife Murray, I think she was put off by the Galway player running in, untypical of Aoife there. But Marty just saying, Galway's Sarah Dervin is practically unmarked inside at full back. I think Galway need to go for broke now.
Once again, it's Maeve Cahalan sending it down. Down towards Breach Corkery and Katrina Mackey. Siobhan Cohen is there. Sarah Dervin getting a touch. Sliotar bobbling all over the place. Siobhan Cohen standing over it. Sarah Dervin coming in, scooping it up onto the hurl, trying to get away from the attention of 3 or 4 Galway Cork players. Here comes Breach Corkery, bearing down on the 20, 13. Is this the All-Ireland title? One chance for Breach Corkery, and she rattles the back of the Galway nets. Going for her 6th All-Ireland Camogie medal. 2 weeks' time, her 10th All-Ireland football medal. She is sheer, utter quality and class.
Yeah, poor clearance there from the Galway half back line, and no better woman than to Breach Corkery to run onto it, and 1-on-1 with Susan Erner. Well, Corkery was always going to win that.
Brilliant goal by Breach Corkery. 5 points between the teams, just when Galway were beginning to find that rhythm and belief again. It's a big ask now for the league champions. Going to take the sideline cut is Orla Cotter. Down towards left corner back Heather Cooney. Pressure on Galway now. Pamela Perez-Manton it is that is there, so too is Lorraine Ryan, who has never ever given up. Great catch by Orla Cotter. Ball into the middle. Picked up here by Julia White. Amy O'Connor is unmarked. And here is Amy. Will she go for goal? She goes for it, stopped by the goalkeeper. Good save by Susan Erner. It's Amy again, and this time it's over the bar. Good save by keeper. But ultimately the consolation prize is a point, which stretches the All-Ireland champions lead.
Yes, I mean, a 6 points lead now at this stage. You know, the O'Duffy Cup looks like it's going to head back to Leaside for another 12 months.
Aisling Thompson. Stick work by Aoife Donoghue, just leaving her down on this occasion. Away comes Julia White. Amy O'Connor is available again. Siobhan Cohen has played her heart out in this All-Ireland final. Over towards Finola Keeley, trying to get away from the attention of Leanne O'Sullivan. Paige Corcoran, goal scorer. Corner back, half back, she'll go into goals when she's wearing the red and white of her beloved Cork. Leanne O'Sullivan, but it's Jessica Gill that has the sliotar. Ball into the centre. It's everything to fight for. Stopped this occasion by Niamh Kilkenny, is stopped on this occasion by Gemma O'Connor, and it's a free in for Galway.
They have to go for goal, Marty.
4 minutes or thereabouts left on the clock. Nip and tuck all the way until Breach Corkery's goal after 53 minutes. Here comes the shot, and that is over the bar. It's Niamh McGrath who is given a magnificent display of free taking and indeed point scoring from play as well in this All-Ireland final. But it's a 5-point gap between the teams. And Galway rearranging, it would appear, their defence.
Shauna Healy looks like it's going off.
Shauna Healy is called ashore, and Sinead Cahalan from Mullia is the player that's coming in. Puck out from Aoife Murray. Batted away, picked up here by Therese Manton. Ball into space. Tenacious defending. Orla Cotter. Again for Gemma O'Connor. Into the middle. Cahalan going up for it. Sinead didn't quite get it. Here comes Amy O'Connor. Looking around for support. It's available. Katrina Mackey. Amy O'Connor gone inside, but it's not a good ball for her. Sarah Dervin goes back to gather. Clears it down the wing here. Maeve Cahalan gets a touch. Siobhan Cohen drives it long, but as we've seen, all afternoon, it was Jim O'Connor thought she was going to be hooked there. Breach Corkery laying it on for Katrina Mackey, and it's Breach Corkery again. When you want leadership and you want to win in All-Ireland, look no further than here. Although this time she loses control of it, she still has scored the vital goal. Lorraine Ryan, having received a pass from Therese Manton. Niamh McGrath just taking her eye off it. In comes the Cork captain, Aisling Thompson, from out the field, and that is an incredible point. She got the first, and she may well have got the last. But Aisling Thompson is some captain. What a score.
An incredible point there from Aisling. I think, you know, once Cork weathered the storm, when Galway came back at them 8 points to 7, and of course Breach's goal, you know, they're just pulling away now.
Katrina Mackey from 45 metres out the field puts it between the posts for the Douglas Stars' first point in this final. Now for Ray Kelly will want the puck out to be taken again, but at this stage your Duffy Cup will be heading back to the city and county of Cork. Ball is cleared by Heather Cooney, but it shows what good All-Ireland champions Cork are. Remember, as we mentioned at the beginning, 10 of last year's squad not available. Galway stepped up a gear in the second half, comes within a point, and then the champions stepped up a gear and really have responded magnificently in this final 15 minutes.
Tremendous display from Cork. You know, Paddy Murray said during the week if Cork could win this All-Ireland that it would be the best ever, considering the turnover of players from last year. But you know, while we're talking a lot about the players that have gone, we mustn't forget the players who've come into this team, the likes of the Orla Cronins, Hannah Looney and those. You know, they've really come up and they've stepped up to the plate.
Well, it's all about getting a chance, and when you get your chance and you take it, and that's what these Cork girls have done over the last couple of months. But they've proven themselves on the biggest stage of all, All-Ireland final day. Change in the Galway team. Rebecca Henley is on, and as Galway make the last switch of the afternoon, Clodagh McGrath is the player that's gone off. Here indeed is Rebecca Henley from Ardrahan taking the sideline cut. Lorraine Ryan is there. And once again, it's Orla Cotter kicking into the middle. Siobhan Cohen has been impressive all afternoon. Jessica Gill was coming through. And again, it's a hefty challenge on Aisling Thompson and Aoife Donovan. Both of them are in pain with that one. And again, it was just sheer intensity and going for the ball.
Yes, but you know, you'd have to say today, Galway really have no answer to Cork, to what they brought to this game. You know, all over the field, they were actually supreme today. They've limited Galway, I think, to 2 points from play. I mean, that's some record, and it speaks volumes. We a lot of the time we give the credit to the forward line, but Cork's defence today, and the newcomers in there in the Cork defence, Laura Tracy, she was here last year, but she stepped into the full-back position. Leanne O'Sullivan, Maeve Cahalane as well. You know, these players, a big ask, 3 new players in the Cork defence.
Shows you the depth of talent that's in Cork Camogie. And at this stage, as we pass the 62nd minute of this All-Ireland final, the Cork bench waiting anxiously for the final whistle from Ray Kelly, because the O'Duffy Cup is heading back to Cork, and Cork and Dublin will be level at the top of the tree, and 26 All-Ireland titles each, which is truly a remarkable achievement. And they showed tremendous courage, intensity from about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And when Galway stepped up a mark and came within a point, the All-Ireland champions just oozed class. And they're not finished yet. Here's Amy O'Connor with 4 Galway players around her, and that ball is wide. And surely now, the moment that Paddy Murray and all of Cork will rejoice when that final whistle signals that Cork are indeed the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Champions 2015. And I can tell you, they did it in style. They may have lost twice to Galway earlier in the league and the championship, but it shows that Paddy Murray, as a manager, knows what he's doing, and that these young players who emerged, as Therese said, from indeed the substitute bench and from the development squads, to take the players who retired or whatever over the last 12 months, to emerge and come back here to Croke Park and retain the O'Duffy Cup is truly one of the stories in terms of the GA, in terms of sport this year.
It is, the manner in which they've won this All-Ireland. You have to credit the whole of the Cork management. You know, they regrouped at the beginning of the year, and you'd have to say Paddy Murray, while they brought the young players and the new players onto the team, and sometimes maybe when it wasn't working out for them, remember they lost the league final in Thurles to Galway, he still stuck with these players. He still left them in the positions. They had to learn. If it meant learning the hard way, he could see the bigger picture, you know, when it came to this time of the year, and they've certainly delivered for him. This will rank as one of the greatest Cork victories, and as you said, Marty, they're now equal with Dublin, 26 All-Ireland titles and the Roll of Honour, and who knows, you know, the drive could be on now for 27.
Spoken like a true Cork woman, Therese. I think you should enjoy the 26 first. And Breach Corkery, and indeed in company of the Taoiseach here, indeed, and the Kenny, enjoying this All-Ireland Senior Camogie final. But Breach Corkery I have to say I really do have great admiration for her, because when the game was in the melting pot, Dublin should have, Galway I should say, Dublin,
Yes.
Galway should have defended better. The ball was not dealt with properly, but once there was that one break, one goal scoring opportunity, right person, right place, you couldn't ask for better than Breach Cork.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can't give Breach a cent really, because, you know, she sniffs around that goal area all the time and she's going to pounce. Breach now today and Rena Buckley have won their 15th All-Ireland medal. This is their 6th Camogie, and they already have 9 ladies football, and we know that that season isn't over yet.
And they'll be facing Dublin.
They'll be facing Dublin. And you have the likes of Aoife Murray. She's spoken that this is her last All-Ireland. She's claimed her 7th All-Ireland medal today, along with Jim O'Connor, who was absolutely brilliant for Cork today, her 7th title
And
as
that,
well.
when they go back to Galway and they analyse the game, the only one tactical mistake was perhaps the fact that they didn't deprive Jim O'Connor of easy ball. Her positioning, I use the phrase sat-nav, was just superb, her reading.
Well, Jim O'Connor is not a player that you leave unmarked, because she's such a wonderful reader of the game. She's got a great hand. She's just an all-round hurler. And I was surprised that Galway, you know, didn't get somebody in up closer to Gemma, because she was outstanding throughout.
Well, great atmosphere in Croke Park as Cork win their 26th All-Ireland title by 113 to 9 points before 16,610. Let's go down to the sideline for some post-match reaction as I join our colleague, Joanne Cadwell.
And I'm joined by the woman you were just talking about, Gemma O'Connor. There's shouts of Gemma, Gemma, Gemma coming from the crowd. I think that sums it up. But you were remarkably emotional at the final whistle. Was this particularly special?
Yeah, this is probably the most emotional final from a personal point of view that I'm ever after playing. Number one for Cork, who I love playing for, and ultimately for my mother, who I wouldn't be playing for only for her today, and she's really ill at the moment. And she's at every game, every waking moment, she's there, and unfortunately she can't be here today. And you know, she's just an amazing woman. She's fighting so hard at the moment, and it's all down to her.
Well, you were so commanding out there. Was she in your mind the whole time?
Yeah, from the get-go, this weekend's been extra emotional, and although she's always in my head, sometimes emotion can be your friend or your friend. I tried to play with that bit of heart for her, but not to let it overwhelm me either, that I'd lose the run of myself. You know, I'm here with the girls and playing this All-Ireland for the girls, and it has to be both for Cork and my mum, like, you know.
Well, I've no doubt every single one of them will be really, really proud. Gemma O'Connor, well done today.
So the moment has arrived for the presentation of the O'Duffy Cup at the All-Ireland Final 2015. Cork fans celebrate. Catherine Neary, President of the Camogie Association, is about to hand over the O'Duffy Cup as the Cork fans celebrate, not alone here in Croke Park, but indeed wherever there's a Cork man, woman or child. A very emotional Gemma O'Connor, and as I said earlier, we pass on our best wishes to our mom, Ger. We wish her well.
I think we've just witnessed the wonderful senior All-Ireland final. We've seen two wonderful teams. Congratulations to Cork, Galway. I think you've actually done your clubs, your county proud. You fought so hard during that game. You fought right to the end. I want to congratulate you, and I have no doubt that we'll see you back here fighting for All-Ireland honours in the next year too. So well done, congratulations. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Liberty Insurance, for all their support during the last few years, and also I look forward to working with them in the coming years. To the referee, Ray Kelly, congratulations and well done. And I also congratulate all the officials here today. The O'Duffy Cup is returning back to Leeside again for the second year in a row. And just one piece of history, Cork have joined Dublin at the top of the League of Honour table for All-Ireland wins, so well done and congratulations. And it's my pleasure to present the cup to the wheeling captain, Aisling Thompson.
In the presence of the President of Ireland, Michael G. Higgins, and Taoiseach Enda Kenny, President of Camogie Association, Catherine O'Leary, gives the O'Duffy Cup to Aisling Thompson. Cork, All-Ireland Senior Camogie champions for the 6th time. What a magnificent day for the Rebels.
First of all, I suppose I'd like to thank Galway. Lads, you never fail to bring the fight. I know these days they're so disappointing, but lads, you gave it everything. And I've no doubt in my mind that in a short while you'll be where I am standing today. So 3 cheers for Galway. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Cost Cutter, and Barry Group as well. Lads, you've been brilliant for the last 3 years, so thanks a million. I'd like to thank our management. Even though there's about 15 of you there, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. We've Niall doing the stats. We have, sorry, I'm a small bit concussed. We've Wesley O'Brien, Sean Cremin, Shawnee Creme Fresh. And our one and only 2 All-Irelands in a row, Paddy Murray. And of course, Kevin, our fitness coach as well, Kevin Murray, thanks. To our supporters, lads, you've been absolutely brilliant.
And so the party begins, particularly if you're from Cork. Well done, Cork, All-Ireland champions 2015. Full-time score in Croke Park, Cork 113, Galway 9 points.
Yes, Aisling Thompson accepting the O'Duffy Cup on behalf of the Cork team. I suspect Anna Geary, there'll be a few celebrations down in Milford tonight.
I'm sure they will tonight and many nights to come. And indeed,
this is actually a good day. Club. You were Cork captain last year, so
I know it is. It's good. It's a good home, and hopefully that'll follow through in the remainder of our championship this year. But look, it's a brilliant occasion for Cork, and especially for all the supporters that came up here. Cork were by far and large the better team for this 60 minutes, you know, and it channeled right through from Aoife Murray all the way up. They wanted it, and they absolutely grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. But God, were in it, and they were in it right up until the very end, until Breach Corkery got that goal. You could say any minute if Galway get that goal, they might turn the game. Once Breach got it, it was like the waters opened, and Cork just kept on attacking, point after point after point.
It was a funny game from that point of view, Veronica Curtin, because at one stage Galway got it back in the second half to, I think, 2 points, and yet you always felt that Cork were in control of the game.
Yeah, like Galway got the good start after half-time, and I think went a point or two within Cork. But I think every time that they put a threat or an attack to go towards Cork, Cork just swallowed them up every time. Like nothing was coming out of it, it was going back down the field as quick. So look at Galway can't complain today. Like they had 2 players who scored, they only scored 3 points from play, whereas in comparison, Cork had 6 players who scored.
Yes.
Like Cork's big players really stood up today. The girls that have been there for over the last 10 years really stood up. Gemma O'Connor was absolutely phenomenal. Marina Buckley, Breach Corkery, Orla Cotter. These big girls, you could see that the experience of them players today, and ultimately was the winning of the game for Cork.
We were saying at the beginning of the match, and that, you know, for both counties, there have been changes over the last year or two. A lot of players have retired from both counties. But as Veronica was saying, the difference is that Cork still have a core of players there, which maybe Galway don't have to the same level.
Yeah, I mean, like Cork had 5 girls that were starting their first All-Ireland final. Galway actually had, Galway had 6 and Cork had 5. But the remaining Cork girls that were on that field today had 39 All-Ireland medals between them. Now, if you've got that experience and depth, even if you fall behind, you're going to be able to pull back. Veronica made an interesting point as well during the match, that Galway haven't had to come from behind yet in this year's championship.
Yeah.
And that does, like, there is experience that comes from that, having that mental strength, like Waterford earlier on the intermediate, knowing that when you're behind, how to regroup and attack again. I mean, Cork today, even when Galway were forging their, you always felt, like you said, that Cork were always in control. Now, Cork actually didn't score the first score of the second half until the 44th minute.
Yeah.
So there was, like, Galway really came out in the second half with a point to prove. But, like, that died off very easy. And then you'd have to say both sets of defence were tremendous. I mean, Cork's full back line, to think that, I mean, like I said, 6-11 coming in between Molly Dunn and Riley, none of them scored from play today. But that was by and large a lot to do with Gemma O'Connor as well, and the amount of ball that she swept up. She was everywhere today in the back line for Cork.
I suppose it was a factor as well, Veronica, in this match that Cork lost the league final to Galway. Galway beat Cork in the first round of the championship, and I'm sure it was a huge factor in Cork's minds. Now, look, we're not going to lose these girls again.
Yeah, I think their win over Kilkenny was a massive confidence boost to them. Like, that Kilkenny team were on form. They were, like, phenomenal. They were literally tipped to win the All-Ireland this year. They were the on-form team. So that would have given them a massive confidence boost coming in. So I think, like, you know, when you get to an All-Ireland final, it's very hard to beat Cork. They bring the intensity with them. They bring the experience. Like, the amount of All-Ireland medals that was on that field for Cork today, you could see it. You could see it all through the match.
The music, by the way, is booming out here at Croke Park. Guess what? It's the Black Eyed Keys yet again. But anyway, I don't know if Joanne can hear me, but she's with Ashley Thompson if she can.
You can always be heard, Michael Lester. I have got the Cork captain with me. Aisling, is this what a team in transition does?
I think so, yeah. I think a team in general, the 4 letters, that's what a team does. You know, we go out, we fight for everything. When the going gets tough, we never give up, and that's the difference between us and everyone else.
Actually, that probably sums it up very well out there, because there were times when Galway just looked like they were coming right back at you, weren't there?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, in the first 10 minutes of the second half, they crept in, you know, and brought it back to a 1-point game. So, I suppose, but they're always going to have a purple patch. That's going to happen, you know what I mean? It's about who's going to throw in the towel first, and we didn't, and we kept going, and we won.
But where does that drive and that fight and that heart come from?
I think we've just gone through so many hard times in the past 2 years. We've had so many ups and downs personally, you know, and not just myself, other people on the team as well that people don't know about. And I think it's just when you think of all that and you think about life in general, you only get these chances maybe in your life, you know, and you have to take every chance as it comes. And you know, that's what life is all about, really, is giving it everything. It could be your last day, you never know.
And is that what your teammates and what this Cork team has helped you and the rest of them through?
Yeah, we do. That's the way we look at it. That's the way you have to look at it. You have to look at every day like it's going to be your last, and your last performance, your last day on Croke Park. So, you know, I'm baffled. It's a dream come true, really, for me, you know.
I have a feeling you'll have a few more of these days at Croke Park. Aisling, well done today.
Yeah, a good speech there by Aisling Thompson. A little bit emotional as well. And of course, she's referencing Gemma O'Connor's mum, who is unwell at the moment. We know that. And I suppose that puts it into context, doesn't it?
It does. I think, I mean, Gemma today went out there and played with her heart. You know, when people say, you know, go out and give it your heart, like, that performance there from Gemma just completely typified what it is to do that. And I think it's not just Gemma. Every single one of the girls, we saw Breach Corkery jumping around, and Veronica made the comment, you'd swear it was her first All-Ireland that she'd won. She's won her 15th All-Ireland medal today. These girls want it, and when they go into matches, they don't worry about what they've won in the past. All they worry about is the 60 minutes and what they need to do to perform for the team.
Sure.
It was a tremendous Cork team performance today. Like, there was 1 or 2 standout players, but in general, they all want to do it for each other, and that's why they're holding the O'Duffy now.
It is indeed. All right, we have a break to take here on the Sunday game, but do stay with us. Coming up very soon, details on how to enter our competition for a trip to Thailand.
FM DJ Louise McSharry fought her illness in public.
I'm going to do 6 months of chemotherapy. It's going to be rough, but at the end of it, they're going to tell me that I'm cured and I can go back to my life.
Reality Bites F Cancer, Thursday at 9:30 on RTE2. 5 more people get the chance to win cash and prizes.
€500,000. Spin that wheel.
Winning Streak, Saturday at 8:15 on RTE1.
We're a nation blessed with the travel gene. If there are better ways to get around, we'll find. We're a nation of multitaskers, of food critics, of kings and queens. We're a nation who knows the smartest way to get there. And smart flies Aer Lingus.
I found a lump in my breast, got seen to within a week. I had a mammogram, followed 2 hours later by a biopsy. The whirlwind doesn't go there. I had breast cancer. Rang VHI and the girl said, absolutely, you're definitely covered. I had a mastectomy. The standard of care I received was second to none. We're all trying to cut corners here, there and everywhere. VHI, it's the one corner I'll never cut, like a security blanket. Life's great. It revolves around my boys. My name is Carmel and I'm glad I'm with VHI Healthcare.
Please. It's in your back garden.
Yeah, hang on a moment.
At AIB, we know joining a community is a lifelong commitment.
No.
Just wondering, do you always give the ball back?
Of course.
Is that a promise?
That's a promise.
Which is why we're committing to give you no fees on your mortgage current account when you take out a mortgage with AIB. When you decide to put down roots, we'll back you.
मी 6 वर्षाची असताना अंतरावर शाळेत पायी जाते. ज्यावेळेस मी लहान होते त्यावेळेस मी आठवड्यातून 2 दिवस शाळेत जाऊ शकत नव्हते. गेल्या वर्षी मला चाइल्ड फंडकडून सायकल मिळाली. सायकल भेटल्यानंतर मी खूप आनंद झाले आणि माझा गृहपाठ मी पूर्ण वेळेवर पूर्ण करू शकले. मी शाळेला कधीही उशिरा शाळेला जात नाही.
Wonder if I gave an Oreo to the big bad wolf, how would the story go? Would he still go huff and puff, or would he bring those pigs cool stuff to decorate the deck he helped them build? Would they not get killed? Wonder if I gave an Oreo.
Now with VHI Healthcare, your family can save more. Because until October 31st, kids under 8 are half price. So now you can save with all our great Value 1 plans and enjoy the benefits you'd expect from Ireland's leading health insurer. VHI Healthcare. When you need us, we're there.
The Aer Lingus need another holiday sale. Top destinations at really great prices. Smart books now. Smart flies Aer Lingus.
We've teamed up with Etihad Airways, proud sponsor of the GAA Hurling Championship, to give you the chance to win a 14-night holiday to beautiful Thailand. You and a friend will be treated to 4-star accommodation in multiple destinations while taking in the beaches and cities of Thailand. Plus, there's €1,000 spending money too. For your chance to win the lot, answer this. Which of these teams did Kilkenny defeat in the 2014 All-Ireland Hurling Final replay? Was it Wexford, Tipperary or Offaly? To enter, call 15 16 71 71 82 or text the word GAME followed by your answer and name to 57001. Viewers in the north can also text to 57001 or call the number on screen. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Monday, September 14th. Full details are on rte.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
Best of luck with that. Cork are the All-Ireland Camogie champions for 2015 this afternoon here at Croke Park. They have defeated Galway in a scoreline of 113 to 9 points. One of the things that impressed me and Aguirre from the second half of that game was Galway came out with purpose at the beginning of it and they started to pare the scores back, which was a good response. But then Cork steadied themselves and turned it back around in their favour again. Yeah,
from Galway's point of view, they'd been feeling that they were lucky to be going 4 points down at half-time. So when they came out with a renewed sense of purpose, and they came out, I suppose, much like the team that had produced the former in the early stages of the championship. But once Cork got going again, you know, their ability to split open a defence. I mean, Orla Cotter today was brilliant. You know, the 2 points that she got from play, long range points, looks up, puts the ball over the bar. Sometimes, you know, players can be guilty of taking too much out of the ball, but Orla Cotter, she keeps it simple. She either takes the pass, gives it off, takes it back and puts the ball over. And I think that was very characteristic of Cork today because they did the simple things right.
Sure. Let's go down to Joanne. There's someone to talk to down there.
And that someone is Amy O'Connor. Amy, congratulations. The atmosphere out there seems incredible. This means a lot to Cork, and they're noisy as well.
Yeah, they're very noisy. To be honest, like, everyone wrote us off at the start of the year, and then when we made the final, people started thinking, oh, do you know, they can do it, like, so thank God we did.
That's a strange situation for a team that's been so dominant like that, to feel like you're being written off by people.
Yeah, we were written off fierce at the start of the year. We lost about 13 of our panel from last year, and like, our average age has dropped dramatically because there's a couple of us only 18 and 19, so everyone just wrote us off, having lost like, the likes of Anna Gary, Jenny O'Leary, all them, so.
Did it feel daunting for you, the younger ones, especially at the start of the championship?
Yeah, like, because you just went from not starting last year with having such big names in the team to starting this year, like, straight into it. But it helps when you've like Gemma O'Connor, Arena, Breed, all around you, because you've experience in every line. So that made it a lot easier for us.
And we saw the importance somebody like Breach can make in the match.
Yeah, Breach is everywhere on the pitch. So, but even Gemma was outstanding. All the older girls they all stood up again. So, but we knew they would. So.
They're not going to appreciate you calling them that, though.
I know I shouldn't have said that. But they know what I mean anyway.
Of course they do. It was really, really close, though, wasn't it? But that goal from Breach made all the difference.
It was very close, all right, but I think we just worked that bit harder. Like, there was one stage towards the end I fell and I actually didn't think I'd be able to get back up, but we had to. I just think we worked that bit harder than Galway, and at the end of the day, the team that wants it more will win it, and the harder you work, the more you get out of it.
Well said, Amy. Well done. Great stuff today.
Thanks a million.
Well, it is impressive, Veronica, what Cork have done, because Amy made reference to it there. You know, when a team changes so much, it's then the responsibility of the other players on the panel to come in and to take up the cudgel then, if you like.
Yeah, and Cork lost unbelievable experienced players last year. But as we were saying earlier, like, the nucleus of their team is so experienced. They have so many All-Ireland medals won between the whole lot of them. Like, if you're starting goals, Aoife Murray, you have Gemma O'Connor, Rena Buckley, moving on to Julie White, who's been there a while, Orla Cotter, Breach Corkery, the two Mackeys. Like, them girls have a wealth of experience amongst them. And it's easy to bring 4 or 5 players into a setup where you have them, because all you're going to do is learn from players like that and be inspired by them.
Let's go back down to Joanne. She's with the Cork manager.
Paddy, congratulations. It was interesting hearing Amy there talking about how you were written off at the start of the year. Is that something that you kind of pushed through to the girls? Listen to everybody just writing us off and not giving us a chance?
Not particularly, no. I suppose really we went down, concentrating on ourselves. Really, we knew that we were going to be under pressure, but I suppose the one commitment that we made at the start of the year was to retain the title. So, you know, thank God we've done that.
It must have brought a completely different type of challenge to you this year.
It did, but I knew that, I suppose, staying on, and it was probably one of the challenges that I suppose kept me there, really, that I knew that if we had to win it this year, it would certainly be better than last year. So, you know, as a manager, it's a challenge, and it was one I look forward to.
Well, was it a sweeter feeling when that final whistle went and you were champions?
Absolutely. You know, look, we had a lot of people that left. You know, I think there's probably 13 from the panel altogether. So, you know, to bring in 13 new girls, a lot of them very young, you know, get them used to the system, you know, even the speed of hurling, you know, that it was a lot of work in it. I suppose maybe some of our results during the year probably, you know, we were a bit up and down. So, you know, that I think it was really because of the youth coming through, you know, but we backed them, and, you know, that every week we were getting better and better.
Why is it that Cork teams, both the ladies' football and the Camogie, that they can have these bad days, and more than 1 or 2 bad days during the year? When it comes to that All-Ireland final, you know how to win it.
Yeah, but I suppose, look, one thing that I've been really preaching to them all year is that we're very strong mentally, you know, and that we, you know, get our knocks, we'll dust ourselves down and we'll get on with it. We don't look for pity or anything like that, and I think we have a winning mentality, really.
If you look at the match today, at half-time you went in 4 points up. Were you actually a bit annoyed because you were so dominant in that first half?
Yeah, I suppose what annoyed me really was the frees we gave away. I think they only got 1 point from play, and you know, I think a couple of them were soft, to be very honest with you, especially in the second half. There was 3 or 4 there that you know, I'd probably like to see again, you know, but I think the one thing that we try to get across them at half-time is if we don't get away frees, we'll win the game, you know. And I suppose I'm probably disappointed really with the first 10 minutes of the second half, because that's exactly what we didn't do.
I'm sure you're overall, though, overjoyed. Well done today, Paddy.
Thank you very much.
I think about it as well, Anna Geary is behind every good team. You need a good management and his backroom staff.
Yeah, I mean, like, Paddy was there in 2012 and we lost the All-Ireland to Wexford, and, you know, you do learn a lot from that. And he's last year, people thought, oh, you know, will he retire and step back on a high? But like you said, the challenge was there. Yeah. There was a transition. There was new players coming in. I mean, 4 of the substitutes from last year's All-Ireland win started today. Yes. And Maeve Callan wasn't even on the panel, and she started today wing back and had a great game as well. All the half-back line did. So that is a challenge as a manager. But, I mean, challenges are there to be overcome. And, you know, any manager will tell you, you know, when you're a player, you want to have a good performance. Sure. When you're on the line as a manager, you know, it's the tactics, it's the shrewd ability to train teams in such a way is what keeps you going. And, you know, they got their just reward. It was Veronica. He was saying that he wasn't particularly happy with the first 10 minutes of the second half when Cork allowed Galway to come back into the game, and that they had lost some of the things that they had promised themselves they wouldn't do. But then, as I was saying to Anna a little bit earlier on, the impressive thing from Cork was, having gone through that little bit of a ropey patch, they then steadied themselves again.
Yeah, when Galway were grouped at half-time, they were always going to come out in the second half with a point to prove. Like, they really never got up to the intensity of the game. Here we can see Orla Cotter picking up a phenomenal score in the second half, though. Like, this girl, just when it was going away from Cork, she popped up again, and here she is again, scoring a free. She rarely misses a free. So, like again, the big players kept Cork in touch. And here we have Susan Erner making a great save.
Great save, but it still ended up going over the bar, and it was important for Cork, obviously, to be picking up what they could at that stage. Yeah, and here we have, just out of the sideline, Aisling Thompson, I think it is, the scores this, puts a fine point over the bar, like, really leading by example, their captain. At that stage, Anna, you were feeling to yourself, Galway probably need a goal here. Yeah. But in fact, of course, what happened was... And that's it. I mean, this is Bridge Cork. This is what she does. You know, Bridge has this knack of producing an inspirational moment that lifts the team. You know, Sarah Dervin was coming out here with the ball, and like we were talking about, all experience, just a little bit of inexperience here from Shauna Healy, the centre-back. Bridge takes advantage of it, you know, through on goal. She beats her player, and then, you know, a finish. Now, arguably, you could say that Susan Erner should have done better with that, given her experience as a goalkeeper with Galway. But, you know, Bridge will be very happy to take the goal, and, you know, full credit to her, because she took on half the Galway backs and beat them. Right woman in the right place. Exactly, no better woman. OK, that was the Cork goal that basically sealed the deal. But on a broader picture, Veronica, from Galway's point of view, this is their second All-Ireland in 3 years. They were, of course, 2 years ago. So Galway Camogie is not in a bad place. But obviously, it takes a bit of the punch out of you for a while.